The European Commission is investigating Valve and 5 other major PC game publishers allegedly breaching EU competition rules. The group is concerned that Valve, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Focus Home, Koch Media, and ZeniMax have all treated consumers unfairly by geo-blocking games to prevent cross-border sales from other EU countries. While the fact 6 major companies are under investigation is notable news in itself, if the Commission eventually finds sufficient evidence of infringement, it could fine offending parties up to 10% of their annual worldwide turnover. As it stands, the Commission claims each company agreed to use region-specific activation keys to deny EU consumers the benefits of the digital single market, which lets them shop around EU member states to find the most attractive offer. The group's preliminary view is that all 6 entered into bilateral agreements to prevent consumers from purchasing and using PC video games anywhere but their country of residence, thereby breaching new antitrust rules. In a true digital single market, European consumers should have the right to buy and play video games of their choice regardless of where they live in the EU, commented Commissioner Margaret Vestager, who's in charge of competition policy. Consumers should not be prevented from shopping around between member states to find the best available deal. Now that the Commission has informed each company about its concerns, with a statement of objections, all 6 will have a chance to examine the case, reply in writing, and request an oral hearing to present a defense. There's no legal deadline for the Commission to complete its investigations, so the process could last some time. But it's a situation that's well worth keeping an eye on. In this opinion piece, SuperDebt research founder Gustav van Joen examines 10 major trends of 2019, from a fresh wave of consolidations to a fragmentation of PC game marketplaces. It's the time of year when I try to minimize the odds of face as an analyst by making generic statements about the gaming industry's future. No chance. Both fit in. 2019 promises to be a great year in games. Innovation and competition will elevate the industry's offerings and drive more inclusivity among a broader range of audiences. Collectively, gamers will serve as the canary in the coal mine, as large tech firms look to introduce new technologies to mainstream consumer audiences. Companies like Amazon, Tencent, Google and Microsoft already own and operate massive data centers that virtually run enterprise applications. As I previously covered, we will see continued investment in infrastructure and content acquisition in 2019 as these billion-dollar companies seek to claim the consumer market. This means that we will likely see some surprising partnerships, for instance between Tencent and Google in China. Incorporated companies like Sony, Nintendo and legacy game publishers will have to decide on going at it alone. Budding up and surrendering a piece of revenue. It's not a bad thing. But after more than a decade of a virtual monopoly held by Valve, new contenders have emerged. We already saw how Valve tried to get in front of Epic's announcement that it was lowering its platform fees, and not long after, this got popped up with an even better rate. This is good for players and companies that make games. Consumers will get better prices and more choice, and the various digital stores will compete over functionality and improved user experience. Creative firms can reduce their exposure to a single distributor. Previously, unless you were Activision RA, you have no other option than to join the cluttered Steam store. Despite digitalization, the bulk of interactive entertainment has remained within one of the various walled gardens. That is going to change. like telecom networks that allow people to speak to each other, irrespective of their phone provider. So, too, will online gaming break down silos? In 2019, cross-platform play will become ubiquitous. The end of 2018 has already shown the potential of this, as Fortnite's resulted in each of the platforms agreeing to play nicely with one another. Legacy publishers like Activision Blizzard have also tasted what cross-platform play can do for their franchises. Hearthstone has continued to dominate the collective card game category because it works seamlessly across PC and mobile, and offers a smooth integration with live streaming platforms like Twitch. Cross-platform play should be at the top of every studio's design agenda in 2019. After seeing the initial success with subscriptions enjoyed by Twitch and Microsoft's Game Pass, more companies will adopt this monetization model. Large platform holders like Sony and Apple are looking to grow their revenues by offering content subscriptions. Both of these companies have indicated they have plans to increase services revenue as a direct response to reaching the limit of how much hardware they can sell. Game publishers have been experimenting with microtransactions to great success. Tentpole franchises like FIFA, Hearthstone, and TV Online have made a mint from what they call recurrent revenues. Beyond upselling their audiences on a regular schedule with content updates, they will explore subscription models that will provide massive discounts on unique content to players in exchange for more predictable revenue flows. Now that gaming has emerged as a mainstream form of entertainment, the industry can expect more scrutiny. In addition, there will be sharper focus on kids and technology in 2019. Data companies will be increasingly under the microscope, similar to the loot box scandal that resulted in various governments speaking out. We will see an effort focused on protecting children. This means that game companies will be held to a higher standard with regards to how they handle data on minors. Against the background of a festering trade war between Eastern and Western economies, data ownership, in particular and children, will emerge as a political topic and strategic business challenge. It also means that titles like Fortnite will be fingered as culprits in narratives around an erosion of culture and well-being. Although this is largely driven by ultra-conservative and misinformed industry critics, the title's appeal to younger audiences will make it a likely scapegoat as the usual choir sings its disdain for video games. This year's congressional hearing in the U.S. more than satisfied our need for examples of how disconnected government representatives are from technology used by literally everyone else, different from previous generations. However, I expect the companies currently at the top of the food chain to know exactly how to respond. They will push titles that offer a safe, pleasant space for kids to play, uninterrupted by broader challenges found everywhere else. Next year will, however, not be a continuation of exuberance, as we have seen previously. Trends in related industries suggest that gaming, too, will move toward a more concentrated competitive landscape and closer government monitoring. In response to the slowdown in consumer spending, some game companies will go out of business, and others will gobble up the failing ones to strengthen their market positions. Nothing new here, but it does leave room for speculation as to who will buy whom. I previously speculated that Amazon would buy GameStop and still think they might. Only it will happen when GameStop reaches its wit's end, probably at the end of Q1 2019. Across Europe, there have been a series of smaller acquisitions throughout the year. some of which are now turning sour. Starbreeze had its offices raided, which I'm told sounded worse than it was. Even so, this year the ambitious portfolio approach of buying up smaller studios under leveraging their against efficient distribution networks became, perhaps, too popular. Finally, I expect companies like Tencent to continue satisfying their appetites for foreign assets. If nothing else, this year has cemented Tencent's need to diversify as they look to mitigate some of its recent stresses by lowering its exposure to games revenue and further investing in Western companies and platforms.